Mid-tier middleweights meet, you never quite know what you're going to get. Andre Fialho is a plus 175 dog, taking on new Mansa, Joaquin Buckley at 15-6 and minus 225, surprisingly enough. And Tapology is overwhelmingly riding with Buckley as well. We can talk about that in a second. But in this one meet, I'm kind of torn because I feel like this is one of those fights where when you go all in on either of these guys, they're kind of likely to burn you. I mean, it's been rough for Andre Fialho lately. He's lost his last two, and not only did he lose both, but he got finished in both. And granted, it was against Jake Matthews and Muslim Salikov, who are two pretty decent, tough middleweight contenders, not contenders, but middleweight fighters in the UFC. But it just wasn't encouraging if you're a Fialho fan because the guy got absolutely dominated in both of those. And before that, he did have the performance of the night finish over Cameron Van Camp, but there were even sketchy moments in that one against Van Camp, and he had that win against Baeza, but that was kind of sketchy too. I just think that we bought a little bit too much into the Fialho hype, and the guy we've seen most recently is closer to the guy that you're likely going to get. And I want to know if you disagree, Meat, and think this is a good turnaround, great opportunity for him to get back on track against Buckley, who is a guy that is also sort of not been peaking lately, right? He's lost two straight as well. Chris Curtis absolutely finished him. Easy work in the second round. And Nasruddin Imavov kind of did the same thing. I mean, he didn't get the finish, but it was in his hometown of Paris. And although Buckley had a good third round, he really got dominated in those early moments as well. So two guys riding fat L streaks, two guys with an opportunity to turn things around. Are you bullish on either of these guys, Meet? And if so, who you taking?
Yeah, this is an absolute battle of the bumps, battle of BKFC 2.0. Who's going to join, who's going to stay, and Fialho is so bad. And like you were saying, we kind of got bought into the hype. He showed some good, spectacular KOs. Turns out they were flukes, and those guys that he knocked out, it was lucky, or they were just that bad also. Sad to say. And Numansa, Buckley, he's got that sweet one knockout, and that's kind of it. He's kind of a bully beatdown guy, thinks he's, too cool for school, but he's not too good of a fighter himself. I gotta go with Fialho. I love that he's an underdog. I love that everyone's picking against him, and I think his odds will get better. The reason why I'm picking him is because he's an underdog. That's really it. Both of these guys are so bad, especially Buckley, to where it's probably a 50-50 fight, but to see whoever's the underdog, that's who I'm going to pick. If Buckley was the underdog, I would have taken him. Fialho's the guy. That's my dude. I'm riding with that. It's a no-brainer in my opinion. To at least put a little sizzle. Both these guys have knockout power. Someone's getting knocked out. If this goes the distance, they both deserve to get cut, in my opinion. So yeah, I think this will be actually a pretty fun fight. Yeah, I'm going with Fialho.
Bold strategy for sure, Meat. And you mentioned all that Brown from Tapology. Whether you're going with Buckley, whether you're going with Fialho, basically everyone thinks that it's going to end by finish. So to your point, I would be also surprised if this thing goes the distance. And if it does, then that might not be great for the boss's sake. I mean, he was disappointed in Johnny Walker versus Lionheart last weekend not ending via finish. Can't imagine how he would deal with Fialho and Buckley not ending by finish. But nonetheless, you made the point that Buckley kind of peaked with that superstar finish over Impa Kasanganay. It was the knockout of the decade for sure. But I want to push back a little bit on that being his only, the only cool thing, the only notable victory that we've seen from Joaquin Buckley, because he did pick up that performance of the night, finish over Albert Duraev, and that was a fight where he was a decent dog. Most people, myself included, thought that Duraev was going to maybe not make easy work, but definitely get that one done, and Buckley impressed in that one and was able to get the late finish. So not to say that Buckley is the greatest fighter at 185, but he does have a couple good wins in addition to just the Impa Kasanganay highlight from heaven for sure. So in this one, Meat, minus 225, I don't like all that juice for Buckley. I think that these middle of the pack guys at 185 are just gonna beat each other, and you can't even look at MMA math with these guys because none of it's gonna make any sense. But in this one, for the pick's sake, I'm taking Buckley to get it done. but I'm definitely staying far away from it because if Fialho goes out there and sleeps him in one round, then that wouldn't be the most surprising thing because he is dangerous early. He is, to my earlier point from the last video, training at Killcliff FC, so maybe all those Ian Gary sessions are going to prove successful for him in this one, but I just got to go with Buckley. And my last question to you, Meat, would be, we all know that your boy is the Beverly Hills Ninja Jordan Wright, and Joaquin Buckley absolutely smoked him. Are you still upset about that?
A little bit possibly because, Beverly Hills Ninja, he was one of the best, and somehow he lost to one of the worst, which is just a tragedy. But it happens. It's the fight game. Look at Leon Scott versus Usman, round 1, round 2. Leon clearly leveled up. Maybe Buckley leveled up too. I guess we'll find out, but I got Fialho knockout. This bum's going to BKFC and probably back to Detroit urban survival training.